we are going to start with our first guest today. If I can get my computer to cooperate here. Gary Ihde is a production manager at Fincantieri Marinette Marine. And so he's going to tell us a little bit about Fincantieri Marinette Marine and then his career ladder to get to the point of being a production manager. So Gary.
Good morning, everyone. So currently I'm employed at Marinette Marine, Fincantieri Marinette Marine. We were purchased approximately 10 years ago by Fincantieri, and they have put almost $200 million into our shipyard as of to date. With that, they have done massive expansions in order for us to be competitive in the global market. Fincantieri is a global company, so they have yards and all over the world, not just the United States or in Europe. They have South America, in Asia. And with that, they bring expertise from all those different regions of the world to bear on any issues that we come across. So it's quite exciting to be in the shipyard in the shipbuilding career. We have built over 1,500 vessels at Fincantieri Marinette Marine to date, and we are currently building LCSs, which are littoral combat ship for the United States Navy, MMSCs, which are multi-mission surface combatants for Saudi Arabia. And then we also just won a contract to design and build one FFGX, which is a fast frigate variant based off an Italian design for the United States Navy, with a potential award of 10 of those vessels. So in upwards of $6 billion. So they're going to be going through another yard expansion. They actually already started. We're going to be putting in a synchro lift very shortly. That'll help facilitate us building larger and larger vessels here on the Great Lakes. I'll go a little bit of background about myself. I started at Marinette Marine in 2003, right out of high school. I went to a local parochial high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a living, like most students. I wasn't sure exactly my career path. I knew I had to get a job. You have to make money somehow. You got to pay the bills. And the shipyard was hiring. So I applied, got a job down here, and I started out as an outfitter. Outfitting, think of it as a carpenter. It's a jack of all trades. We do doors, windows, joiner bulkheads, insulation, just different types of materials like that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really a jack of all trades. From there, our outfitting department got a little bit smaller because we transitioned to a different type of variant. And steel work became a little heavier, so they transitioned me to be a steel fitter. I was a steel fitter for about 4 months. I went through weld school on site, company paid. Got certified in ABS to weld, fillet welds, and then I also went through some classroom and hands-on ship fitting experience. From there, I transitioned to a CNC operator here at the shipyard. Again, they did send me to a couple small, day courses to learn coding, but most of it was on-the-job training. The vast majority of what I experienced was on-the-job training. After being in the union for about 4 years, I decided to spread my wings a little bit. I decided this wasn't for me exactly, just being a laborer. There's nothing wrong with that, but I decided I wanted something a little different. I want to challenge myself more. So I applied and became a supervisor. And when I was a supervisor, I started instructor is where I spent most of my time. And I spent throughout the entire yard. We have supervisors, instructor that do the CNC operators, that manage CNC operators. We have foremen in the structural trade that will actually erect the vessel and stack the large modules, 150-ton modules to build the ship. So anywhere from start to all the way to finish, we have that trade. It's the same thing with pipe. Pipe fitters, we have pipe fitters, not just foremen, but the pipe fitters will actually build pipe spools. And we go all the way through to when they go on trials, we test the toilets, we test the showers, we test the sinks, we test eye washing stations. Everything has to be tested that's on the vessel. But most of my background is in the structural department. as I was in the union, when I was a CNC operator, I started working towards my associate's degree, and I was able to finish that. There was a second shift position available for me in the shipyard when I became a foreman. So I was a second shift supervisor, and I went to school during the day, and I was able to get my associate's degree. Education is very important. I cannot underscore enough how important it is to have that continuing education and always be kind of stretching yourself to see what you're capable of. They are willing to work, and most companies are, they're willing to kind of work around your schedule somewhat. You know, if as long as I was upfront and communicated, hey, I need to take classes here, I put my shift bump in to go to a different shift, I got to go to a different shift. So that was very important for me. And along with that is the on-the-job training. Anytime on-the-job training came up, I always signed up for it. If it was offered, I always took advantage of it. It makes you a more well-rounded individual, more well-rounded manager, and it's free training. I mean, you can't pass that up, really. So the role transitioning from actual laborer from the union into salary, it wasn't that hard. I was, naturally a leader, but it was a little difficult at first, having to have those crucial conversations, those interpersonal communications with people who I would see as they were more senior to me, and they were a lot of them, the age of my parents. And you have to have crucial conversations with them sometimes. Difficult, but you have to do that because they deserve that honest feedback on their performance. So, so after I was a foreman, I was able to move up to be a general supervisor in the panel line, which is where we build two-dimensional panels. We take flat plates, we put longitudinal and transverse frames on them and weld them out. And then from there, I transitioned to SOC 2, which is our module construct, where they take the two-dimensional panels and we build three-dimensional units out of them. Those units will range anywhere from 20 tons up to an excess of 175 tons is what our current capacity is. Fit and weld. Then we do all of our testing on air testing and everything. And then we'll transition that. It goes from that stage of construct, SOC 2 to SOC 3, which is a paint. We do all the painting in-house. They put, it's multiple coats, of course, of high solid epoxy that goes on. And then from there it goes to a pre-outfit stage where they will do all the cold outfitting, which is where, like, if you're an outfitter, you start, they put in insulation, they put joiner bulkheads up, we put electrical equipment on, hang lights, we'll wire up lights, transformers, junction boxes. And from there it goes to the next stage, which is building 10, where I currently am, where we stack the units and build the ship the full length. And I've been fortunate enough where I was a general supervisor and a foreman in all those different stages in my years down here. So you get to see a lot of different areas of the yard and how they interact and their different issues, which gives you a lot more pause when you see a problem. You get to see, okay, well, I found this error, how that error occurred. And it gives you more insight into how to stop that and prevent it from happening again, is what I'm trying to say. After I was a general foreman, I became a superintendent. I moved back up to SOC 1, which is the panel line and plate shop. I was a superintendent of fabrication. That's we receive plate and everything up there, do all the NC cutting for the entire yard. With that, they grew again once we hit the LCS program, really started hitting strides, and I became superintendent of erection, or superintendent of erect in building 10, which is our large erection facility right now. In there, like I said before, we pick up units that are up to about 175 tons that are fully outfitted. They're plug and play units. And we finish the outfitting of them inside the building, do most of the testing in the building, and then we'll walk out and launch them. one of the experiences I was quite happy with being able to partake in was actually post delivery on LCS 7. They allowed me to go down to Florida for about 3 months, and I worked on a delivered LCS down in dry dock, which is quite the experience. How we do business up here in Wisconsin, when it's, the ship it's our ship, but we're building it for the Navy. It's completely different than when it's actually a commissioned vessel for the United States Navy. The Navy is on board. I mean, it's their home. You got to treat it as such. So that was very interesting to see how the interactions are between the Navy and all their subcontractors, and how they have to facilitate all this other work coming on board, all the upgrades they do. It was really something to experience. Some of the day-to-day stuff that we do, that production manager levels we work on. We do manpower scheduling. So we have to look at our forecast dates, baseline. So we always track where we are currently and where we are supposed to be at. So you have the baseline and you have your forecast. You're always trying to get back to that baseline schedule or exceed the baseline schedule. So we do manpower scheduling and answer variances, process improvements. I'm also the shipyard dock master. So we launch all the ships ourselves, site launch. You've probably seen it on the internet. Advanced operational planning. And we also do any build strategies for future vessels that are coming up.
All right. This would be a great time for students to be typing in questions that they have in the chat, and Allison will be manning that. I know that Gary, you mentioned communication skills and how important that is, especially when you're working with older employees, just really maintaining that good relationship and being able to have those critical conversations. Are there other employability skills that you think are really important for students to have?
Absolutely. Not only like the soft skills, like I said, being able to communicate with all different generations, but also the biggest thing I see for me is those STEM, that type of education, especially like basic math. Math is one of those, it's a universal language. It really is. Everyone, if they say that, everyone jokes around about it, but it's the truth. Math is a universal language. You can understand that. And that's something that every single department uses, every single discipline uses it. I use it. Of course, HR uses it when you're doing manning. Trying to finance to use it. I mean, every single department uses math. So, I mean, and it doesn't have to be complex. I mean, most of the time, if you can do geometry and basic algebra, that can get you through for the most part.
Great. Allison, you have some questions?
I am not seeing any questions.
Do you have a question?
How long does it take to build the ship?
So from start to finish, from receiving the steel till it sails away, is usually about 2.5 to 3 years. About 3 years, I'd say.
What's your favorite part of your job?
Launching. Right now it's launching. I'm the dock master, but it's awesome getting to see a 3,000-pound vessel get side launched into the river. It's a huge splash. The crowd goes wild. It's pretty neat.